Hey everybody, what is up? Welcome back to Final Trade. 1/6 of the way to Christmas. It's what did I buy in February of 2025. And in keeping with last month, the only things that I put back in the closet for the very long term in the month of February was more Japanese Pokemon. Yes, I continue to buy 2 boxes of each of these Scarlet and Violet era Japanese language Pokemon. And, like I said last month, I think I've got a source that I'm pretty confident with at this point, and now that I have a good sampling size of these and multiple boxes of some of them, then I can compare them to each other and be more confident, but I do believe that my source is good. So, like I mentioned last month, looking all the way back to the Sword and Shield era Japanese Pokemon equivalent boxes, at this point, now 2 years out from the Sword and Shield era, those boxes have appreciated anywhere from 50% to 1200%. And I think this kind of performance, in that kind of 3, 4, 500% after a couple of years, I think that's pretty reasonable because this is really kind of a sideshow product. I actually have a couple of cases of a different one of these, and I've had them in my closet for a year or two. It was an oddball deal. I was able to get 2 cases, and I was holding them to maybe eventually offer to my patrons. I went and checked the price on them, and TCG Player is selling 26 boxes a day of that particular one. And I was blown away by that. 26 boxes a day. Yes, they are the Japanese ones that are, smaller boxes, so it's cheaper prices because there's fewer cards. But the fact that in the US market, they're selling 26 boxes a day of a Sword and Shield era Japanese language Pokemon box, really amazing. I think these are underappreciated. And as Pokemon just continues to grow, there is going to be a bigger and bigger mismatch between supply and demand on the Japanese stuff. So, going forward, I plan to just keep adding Japanese language sealed Pokemon boxes to the closet. I continue to try to work with my various sources to get enough to offer them to my patrons regularly. Hopefully that is coming. Now, in general, the TCG market is sideways right now, and we've seen the broader markets, the S&P 500 kind of sideways. We've seen Bitcoin took a big dump in the last week to 10 days, and I think it's just contagion coming through to the TCG market. Now, Magic collector boxes are mostly sideways. A few of them have dropped, say, 5 to 10%, and an even smaller few have continued to go up. The ones I keep citing are Doctor Who and March of the Machines and Unfinity are good examples of Magic collector boxes that have continued to go up even in the last 4 to 6 weeks. Scarlet and Violet era Pokemon, it's interesting to look at the prices of those because it's like the market is almost completely exhausted, but prices have not started pulling back yet. So if you just look at the booster boxes, things like Surging Sparks and then the SVO6, I can't remember the name of it. If you look at those, those have gone up another, say, $10 to $15 a box over the last few weeks. And Journey Together, the set that's going to be releasing on March 28th, it's gotten up to $220, which I think is whoa for a set that's not even out yet, and just a regular standard Pokemon set that is very high. I would not be buying at those prices. But for the rest of the Scarlet and Violet era boxes, they had come up in the last, say, 6 months, and they've kind of stalled too. Now, if we go back to Sword and Shield era, and this will be English language Pokemon boxes, what we see is a lot of those have pulled back, say 5, 10 to 15%. Now, a lot of them went up 50, 100, 200, 300% in 2024. So no, none of us feels bad that they've given up 10, 15, 20% maybe in the first couple of months of this year. These are scarce collectibles that people destroy for fun, and the longer you hold them, the more valuable they will be. So Sword and Shield has taken that kind of pullback, but the reality is Sword and Shield ended 2 years ago, and in the long run, people destroy these for fun. Don't forget that. That's how this is different from all the rest of things like coins and comic books and video games and all kinds of other collectibles. People take these and they destroy them for fun. Now, on the flesh and blood market, probably tomorrow, maybe, I will have my monthly flesh and blood sales video from TCG Player that I'll be publishing. And we've had 3 Fab 2.0 boxes now that are broken above $100 each. Of course, the first 6 Fab boxes that I monitor, Welcome to Wraith, Arcane Rising, and Crucible of War Unlimited, and then Monarch First, Tales First, and Everfest First. Those still are just dawdling around, not doing much. So it's interesting to see that some of these Fab 2.0 products are really taking off with a vengeance in the last, say, month, maybe 6 weeks or so. They've really started to spike up. So I will have actual measured objective data on those when I do my monthly flesh and blood video. We've had a long, strong bull run in this market. And like I said, a lot of that Sword and Shield era product went up 2, 3, 4x in 2024. A lot of Magic boxes, even unloved boxes, collector boxes from 21 and 22. A bunch of those saw 30, 40, 50, 70% gains in 2024. We've seen WotC totally reverse course on collector boxes starting at the beginning of 23 and create real value in those since then and give us really something that people want to chase, people want to buy it, people want to enjoy opening it, they want to destroy them for fun. And can you see a theme here? So I feel like if, let's say, the broader market for things outside of TCGs, let's say it just goes sideways. Let's say the S&P 500 goes sideways for the next 6 months, and let's say that Bitcoin goes, dawdles around a little bit, but maybe touches 100K again, but just stays around that area for the next 6 months. I could very reasonably see us having a pullback here in the TCG market because we were already doing great long before Bitcoin went on the huge run post-election, long before the S&P did the same. And so in effect, we are much more overextended and out over our skis in the TCG market in terms of having had a really, really nice, long, strong bull market that brought up prices a lot. And so it would not surprise me at all, given potential macro factors, that we could see a pullback here in the next couple of months. Now, what should you do? Well, you do what you always do. You unemotionally continue buying the things that you had already decided through careful thought beforehand to buy of every set of the games that you have conviction in. Going into March, so Tarkir Dragonstorm doesn't actually release until April 11th. What is going on? We don't have a major tentpole Magic release in March. Man, that could actually breathe a little more money back in, giving us an extra month. Now I see TCG players taking advantage of the situation by going ahead and posting Tarkir Dragonstorm collector boxes and Final Fantasy collector boxes for sale that won't come out till June. And what's the one past that? Edge of Eternities, I think it's called, that won't be coming out until 5 months from today. They've already put pre-orders of collector boxes up there because, let's be realistic, TCG Player is a marketplace. They just make money on the transactions, and if they can put things up earlier on pre-order and get some of those very high-priced pre-sale orders and get transaction fees on those higher prices, well, they're happy. So I am not biting at those current prices, and they're around 240, 250, 260 for Tarkir and for Edge of Eternities. Final Fantasy, it's going to be a mess one way or another. It's up in the 600s. I'm looking at what to do about that. So, Journey Together, Pokemon SV09, comes out March 28th, so at the end of this month. As for Final Trade and what's going on with the business, Sealed Sale number 12 is coming this Thursday, the upcoming week, the first week of March. I have so many products to choose from. I don't know what to sell just yet. I have not decided, but I'm also not quite yet to jump to doing a sale every week. I think when I start to kind of make that transition, what we'll see is every other week sales like I've been doing up to this point in the year so far. And then I will begin to say every third skip week, throw an extra sale in and start pushing them in like that. Because the last thing I want to do is exhaust my sources, exhaust the people I'm working with, and exhaust my own inventories and then have to miss sales and not be able to do them consistently every other week. That's something I really like to be able to continue. So, look, guys, the market's pretty decent. It's going sideways. That's kind of okay. It makes you feel good about what you buy. You can buy it, you can put it back in the closet, you can accumulate at reasonably level prices if there are things you have missed over the last, say, 3, 6, 9, 12 months. And at some point, maybe we go into a bear market, maybe not. Maybe we edge up higher in a continued bull market. Either way, though, keep in mind in the long term, Pokemon English booster boxes, you're looking at 15, 20, 25, 30, occasionally higher compound annual growth rates. Magic boxes, you're looking at 15, 20, 25% growth rates. And in the long term, the population of these products goes down every day. People destroy them for fun. Let me know what you think, guys. Thanks to everyone who makes this content possible, especially my very generous supporters on Patreon. Like, comment, share, and subscribe, and join me on Final Trade. Join the Patreon sealed sale number 12 this Thursday.